Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this fall hanging bird cage. I really enjoy putting it together, and if you'd like to see how I did that, keep on watching and let's get to crafting. Alright, so to create our hanging basket, we're going to need some wire baskets. You can use whatever baskets you want to use. I like these from the Dollar Tree because they have big separations here in the wire, and you can see through them really well. These are about almost 5 inches in height and about 8 inches or almost 8 inches in diameter here at the top here, so you get an idea of what size they are. And then I have this metal chain basket hanger or pot hanger that I had also grabbed from the Dollar Tree during the spring season. You could also find these at any gardening or maybe even on Amazon or so forth, where you can buy things like this. Now you could also use some rope if you don't find this particular hanger. You could also make your own just by grabbing some chains. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put away one of my baskets and our chain hanger here. I'm going to start with one of these little baskets so we can start putting together our hanging bird cage. I'm going to be using some styrofoam, so we're going to need some of that. I think I'm going to go ahead and use these two little blocks for my basket. There's a little bit of hot glue here, just to attach these two pieces together. Alright, let's put this out of the way first. And now I'm going to take some green moss, like so. And you can use Spanish moss if you prefer. I will also be using these greenery pins or floral pins. They're also called U pins. You can see the shape right there. Okay. Alright, I'm going to cover my styrofoam with this moss. And I'm using those pins to attach it, just like that. Get some big pieces. And I kind of want to cover all the way around. I'll leave one of the sides without covering. A lot of the greenery and flowers that I'll put on there will hide the styrofoam, so we don't have to be like super coverage here. Just enough. This is going to be my bottom, so I do kind of want that to be covered. And I'm going to be using quite a bit of these greenery pins. Alright, I'll continue covering this. Again, I'm going to leave one side, which I'm considering the top, without coverage for now. Okay, once I'm satisfied with the coverage, I'm going to take my basket. Let me go ahead and clean all this up first. Alright, so now I'm going to take some floral wire. This is, I think, a 24 gauge green floral wire. You can use any wire you want to use. And I'm going to actually be using my wire cutters for this. So I'm going to grab some pretty long pieces that will go all the way around the styrofoam, catching onto the wires of the basket. So I want to make sure it's enough to go around at the top to twist up here. Now I won't go around this way. I'm just using that as kind of a measurement. Alright, so a good long piece. Let me cut one more. Alright, so I'm going to turn this around. Let me get some more green pens to grab that moss because it's falling off. Alright, so I want to put this through the basket. Alright, so my camera cut off on me, and I don't know if you saw what I did. So I did take some long pieces of wire, and then I pushed them through the basket here, and then on the inside, pulled them through here, wrapped them around, tightened here, and then I got another one. Since that one was going this way, I got another one going this way, also going through the wire, the basket here underneath, making sure it's on the inside of the basket, bringing it up and tightening it around here. I'll get one more piece, a nice long one, and just do that again so that you can see what I did. So of course, the styrofoam wasn't on there. I was putting this on here, put it through, and then I pulled it through the inside of the basket, just capturing those bottom wires. And then I put the styrofoam in here, pull this nice and tight, and twisted it. And since I was going this way, then I got another wire and went the other direction, pull the wires, put them together nice and tight, twisted them, and some of the wires do cut into the styrofoam, and that is perfectly fine. That just means it's holding on really well. And then I just took all the ends together and twisted them on all the wires ends here. So I had 4 ends. And then I just cut it a certain length, and then just use that end of the wires and poke them into the styrofoam, just like that. If you want, you could add a little bit of glue just to kind of pull that in there. You don't really need that. Now, if you cannot find greenery pins, which I was having to use in some spots, use some more, just to make sure that moss wasn't coming out. You could also add a little dot of glue in here. I wouldn't put too much glue because you don't want to cover the styrofoam with glue, because you want to make sure you have where you can poke in your stems, you know, your greenery stems or your floral stems into it. All right, so just make sure that everything is covered. If it's not, again, just take a little bit of glue, little dots of glue here, and just stuff in some moss. All right, so now I've got some flowers here. I've got some that I've collected from the Dollar Tree. These are fall. I recently grabbed these. I already had this. I think it's pretty to add a little bit of cream color in there to brighten things up. I have these little flowers that I bought at the store. I think it was from either a store called Trini's or At Home. Just some pretty little small ivory or cream colored flowers. These are pumpkin filler. Comes with these little pumpkins, some nice leaves on there. And I grabbed this silver dollar from Dollar Tree. I had this one as well from last project. So I pulled those out. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. I just pulled a bunch of stuff out. Then I also have some maple leaves that I grabbed at the Dollar Tree as well, cream color. And then I have these bits of greenery in my collection, probably from Michael's or something like that. I also have these, so I want to use some of these things. I don't know if I'm going to use it all, but I grabbed it, and we're going to see what we're going to be putting on here. Maybe a little bit of everything, who knows. I also have a little bird here. He's really pretty. I want to use him in my cage, so I've got him ready. All right, let's go ahead and start with some flowers, and I think I'll start with these. I really like these, and you can use whatever you want. Whatever colors also, of course. This idea of this little hanging bird cage can be used for any season, really. And, you know, really for any occasion. So let me cut some of these out. I'm going to cut them at their longest point because I don't know how long or short I need them yet. I am going to go ahead and grab the other wire basket to give myself an idea of how tall things can be in there. So I'll just put it like that for now. Let me get all this out of the way because it's kind of distracting in the background. All right, so here we are, our little cage idea here. And I can see here now how high I can put some of the flowers. Now I don't want to put too high because I do want to put the little bird in there, and I don't want him hiding in there. So I think maybe just about right this length right here. So I need to put my flowers at the length that I need it. So I'm putting it against my styrofoam and then putting my finger where it would meet the top of the styrofoam, the stem. This is how much I want it to come out of the styrofoam. So I got to give it at least an inch or an inch and a half of length at the bottom to insert into the styrofoam. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there kind of at an angle. Here, that's nice. I'll do the same on an opposite spot. Right here. And I think I'll do one more. I like things in odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, etc. But if you want to do it in even numbers, you do what you want. All right. I think I'm going to put these two out of the way. I don't need them. I love these colors, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in there. I want a variety of colors in there. So let's go ahead and cut some of these. I'm going to push the leaves upward as much as I can without making everything pop off. cutting it nice long length and then just trimming it to where I just need it to be. And I'm going to poke that on the side here. And cut another 2. Pushing everything upward. I love this color. It's like a burnt orange, almost red, maroonish tone. Okay, let's also brighten it up some with these yellow, orange flowers. It's just called wildflower bush. This one is called wheat because it does have these little wheat bits on it, which I will use. I'm going to push again, flowers upward. I'm going to put one of these right in the middle, right there. Gorgeous. All right, let's go ahead and cut some more of these. I'm going to cut some that don't have too many flowers on it. I'm going to push this on the side here so it kind of pops out of the basket right here. I'll do the same on the other side. I'm already knowing about how long to cut these from the previous ones. So that's kind of what I'm already doing as I'm cutting them off the bush here. Just some little flowers like that. Nice fullness here. Oops, sorry about that noise. I always drop my scissors or my wire cutters, making a loud bang. I'm going to trim this a little bit more, just a little tiny bit. You know, when you worked and you've done production, you tend to want to work fast, so you grab things and you drop them. And I just kind of got used to doing that. Alright, so I'm just pushing a couple of little flowers upward this way, just to kind of bring that color up like that. Alright, that's pretty good. I do have some of these creamed flowers, so I'll go ahead and do just a couple of these, or maybe 4 or so. I'm going to bring this upward, just kind of look at it. I like that. Alright, one more. Alright, okay, so one more of these cream colored little flowers intermingle with these yellow ones up here on the top. I'm going to put this on here just to make sure that things are more or less where I want them. Yes, that looks really good. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some of these little wheat bits and some greenery on here. Here I'm going to cut this into 2 different stems. These bottom leaves, these don't slide up like the other ones do. So I'm just cutting it right above those bottom leaves and then at the longest point, so I have 2 stems out of each of these little stems. Alright. And I want this on the sides here. Let me push some of these up in here. Alright, let's do the same on the opposite side, and I'll just keep adding whatever I feel I need. Try to keep in mind not to add too much, or don't go crazy, even though I probably will. Sometimes you have to move some of that moss out of the way and maybe make a little hole to kind of help you push greenery in there. Alright. I'm going to direct some of this downward, just like it's just kind of flowing out the bottom of this basket or cage. Once we're done with it, it'll be a little cage. Alright, okay, so I've cut some stems out of this one here. This is the maple leaves bush, and I'm going to pull down some of these flowers a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. Let's see, this one also has that, where it has a second bundle of leaves. Put a little bit of hot glue right on there so it stays in that position. And then what I can do is just cut right above where I glued it. So I have this stem, and this one won't slide out because it's glued down. Alright, so now I have these little stems here, and these bigger ones. Gorgeous. I kind of want to rest a little bird on those leaves. And I'm pushing them way in there. And I don't want to squish the leaves into anything else. Now, they don't have to be exactly opposite, but you know, kind of just have a little bit of rhythm, but you know, you can make it fuller on one side than on the other. That's what you prefer. Alright, let me go ahead and clean up again. Alright, so before I continue putting any more greenery, I'm just going to go ahead and put my little bird in there so that I can see what my little cage is looking like. This is what it looks like from the bottom. Okay, so I want to go ahead and put my little bird in there. He's got some wire that I can poke into the styrofoam, but it is a very thin wire, so I have to kind of push it from the tip. But you know what, I'm going to fold it and twist it a little bit, but I want to make sure it's long enough so that I can put him in there. And well, I wanted to glue him, but I don't want to burn my fingers, so let's push him in there just enough to where he looks like he's just sitting on some leaves right there. See right that? Okay. And then I can reach in and glue him. Now, you don't have to glue him. You can just hold him there, pull him out when you want to maybe undo your arrangement and maybe add some other color flowers and change your basket if you want to do that. Okay, so now we want to put this top on it, and we want to make sure all the flowers and leaves that are on the top are inside of there. And then I can just pull some of them out the top here so they're not squished. There we go. Just making sure nothing got caught in between. Alright, so now let me go ahead and move this paper out of the way. Maybe you can see a little bit better now. Alright, so now that I've positioned this, I'm going to go ahead and try and align it. You know, the little wires with the bottom ones here. You don't have to do that. It's not super obvious, but if you want to make sure, you know, you can do that. Now, I've got some black wire. I grabbed this from a package that I got at the Dollar Tree. I think it was in the automotive. If not, it might have been in the floral section. But, you know, you can check those areas out because sometimes in the automotive area, they do have some wires. Now that I'm looking at this, I may have gotten this package from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so I've got some little bits of black wire because my basket is black. You don't really have to worry because we're just going to make some little ties here. And I'm just going to wrap it around and wrap it around just so that it's grabbing both rim wires of the basket. So I'm just going to go opposite here. Do one over here. Yeah, I probably cut it a little too long, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to wrap it and wrap it, kind of push it together. You don't really see it this way. You can take some flat needle nose pliers or flat nose pliers and then just kind of squish that like that. Make sure it's holding on. This is holding on, but I want to make sure I can add a couple more. So I added two opposite sides, so I'll go ahead and add one over here. And just kind of wrapping it nice and tight. It doesn't have to be super tight, just enough so that your baskets aren't wobbling around. You know, they're attached to each other. I had a little flower come off of here. Let's go ahead and put it on there. There we go. Some of this leaf because it kind of wants to get squished. And then I'm just going to bring out flowers so they're not squishing against each other. Oops. This one came out. Let me go ahead and fix that. Come out, little stem. There we go. Let me fix that a little bit. And I'm going to need some glue just to make sure that doesn't pop off again. There we go. But also keep in mind some of these, the plastic on this is kind of delicate, so sometimes the hot glue might melt it, so just be careful. Okay, so I'm just making sure I've got flowers and leaves are not getting bent. Let me put this one through this top part here. All right, I needed one more little bit of wire. I think it was on this side. And that'll be it for that part. All right, we'll go on to the next step. All right, so I've created my little cage here and attached it in different spots with some black wire. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to put this on here now. It kind of has a square shape to it, but I need to grab it from 3 spots where it won't, you know, kind of unbalance itself. So instead of grabbing it from these very top bits, I'm going to go to this second, you know, this little wire that's going around the center here. And this is sort of a clip on here, so I'm just going to snap it in there. There we go, like that. And let me just kind of decide what the other 3 spots are to kind of evenly grab it. Let's see, why is this? Okay, there we go, like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hang it a bit. All right, so now I've got the chain up here. You can see that, and it'll just lift right up. I'm going to go ahead and try to hang it off my light fixture that I have here so that I can look at it as it's hanging. Okay, so here you can see the little basket hanging, and I did have some other greenery. Now, I wasn't sure that I was going to be using all the greenery, and you don't have to. And of course, maybe you want to use less flowers than what I did. Maybe make it a little less crowded in there. In hindsight, I might want to do that. So then cover the top of your styrofoam with some moss. That way you can put a little bit less flowers, a little bit less greenery, or maybe move that around to the bottom instead of having it all up in the top. I did have some of these. I like this orangey one. I kind of thought maybe I'd want something hanging off, but I don't know now. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece like that. And I'm going to decide if I like that. I'm just going to push it in. Got to grab onto the styrofoam there. And then bend this downward. Lift it up so you can see. Kind of like that. All right, I'll leave that, and then I'll go ahead and use the other piece that I have. And just put it opposite of that one. I'm just going to bend it now that I'm here. Twirl this around. And I grab the styrofoam so I can push that in there. Of course, I want to put some hot glue, but I'm just pushing it in there for now. Just so you can see that there. See? You could put some longer bits hanging down depending on how high you're going to hang it and where you're going to hang it. If you want to have more greenery pieces coming down, you could do that. Use some longer stems of florals to come down. I also have this stem with the little pumpkins, but I think I'm going to go ahead and forego that. And I had this other lovely bits of greenery that I really liked. Again, let me see. Let me grab a couple of these. Let's push that top. Because I feel like right here I need something. Since it's so bushy up here, I don't want it to be so plain here. So let me find the spot there. There we go. I can push it in right there. Oh, I kind of like that. All right, let me add another one opposite to that. Let's see, right about here. That's more like, yeah, because this is really full here, and right here I see like a little bit of, it needs something there. I think that looks lovely. All right, everyone, so there is the finished fall bird cage. It is a hanging bird cage that I put together with these two wire baskets. And we have a little bird right in there. You can't even see him. I can, but I think it looks super cute the way that it is. I hope that you enjoyed watching me put it together, and it is something that you would like to do as well. There you can see the chain hanging off there. All right, everyone, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up, and leave a kind comment down below letting me know what you thought of this little craft and if it's something that you'd like to put together. Also, if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying the content of my videos, I'm going to ask that you please do so, and then hit all notifications so that you get notified as soon as I upload a video. I want to thank everyone for watching, and as always, enjoy.